Hi, this is Hugh. I'm currently in Kingston, Jamaica, and the scene behind you is actually a real beach. I was there about 2 months ago. It's called Negril. Jamaica, for those of you who don't know, is an island just south of the Florida off the coast of the United States. Today, I want to talk to you about three things that I think are important for entrepreneurs and teaching entrepreneurs. And I wish someone had told me this about 20, 30 years ago. It would have prevented a lot of pain in my life and probably helped me to take advantage of a lot of opportunities. So I'm going to start by sharing a screen with you and a presentation. So Michael Jordan, many of you have just seen The Last Dance on Netflix. And is it effort or talent why Michael Jordan is great? And at the end of all of this, I hope you will be able to answer that question yourself. My name again is Hugh, and I'm CEO of Bamboo Growth Capital. Now, there are three things I want to talk about today. Is that personal self-development is important for entrepreneurs, and currently there is really none that's being taught mostly in terms of an entrepreneurial program. Second is that personal self-development for entrepreneurs need to focus on both the conscious and subconscious activities. And let us also start by ensuring entrepreneurs have a growth mindset. Right now, the framework for startups is that we're teaching all kinds of strategies, skill sets, very important, product market fit, value creation, teamwork, and lots of different kinds of processes, the lean startup, business model canvas, 10 types of innovation. However, what I'm proposing to you is that one of the places that we need to focus on developing is mindset, psychology of the entrepreneurs. And here's a quote by Roy Halladay, and the difference that he said that made between good and the great athletes. And in baseball, which he was a pitcher, he'll probably be in the Hall of Fame when he gets eligible for it. And he says he wanted to take psychology course to teach because I feel the root of many athletes' struggles is a warped or underdeveloped self-worth and identity. And why is that important to me? Because as the CEO of Startup Jamaica, which was a World Bank sponsored accelerator in Jamaica about 4 years ago, I noticed that this was the same thing that afflicted many of the entrepreneurs, that they actually we were teaching them skills, business related skills and people related skills, but we weren't teaching them self-development skills. And that's what they really needed to move forward in their businesses. This can easily be seen in terms of probably, if we look at the skill sets required, these are yellow is business skills, orange is people skills, red is personal self-development skills. And as you move through and you go through from about zero, when you're starting a business, to having 1 to 4 employees, and then 10 to 40, your skill sets and the requirements increases. And what we generally found is that the skill sets of the entrepreneur was about, let's say, down to here at a level 2 or 2.5 or 3. And what they needed to be was a level 6 in personal development. We could get them here by teaching them the business skills, which they needed a lot of, and we could teach them here. But this entire set was missing. And these were very simple things like, for example, were they coachable, which was number one, i.e., could they take feedback? Could they go out and have ask for a sale out there? And many of them couldn't because they were afraid or was fearful. And so these are the things which was hindering them, and not because they didn't know what to do. So I then want to talk about the various business, what's the requirement. And if you look at the brain, Buddha says the key to mastering life is to train the mind to be calm, kind, and creative. And what he was essentially saying is that a lot of self-development really is about the development of these core attributes of what you have in the brain. And now what we're learning about the brain from neuroscience is that we have 5 core networks about thinking, imagination, motivation, emotions, and the salience network, which is responsible for things like empathy, self-compassion, and love. And if we were to look at a diagram here, is that one of the things we're also now finding out is that 5% of the reality that you create is being created by your conscious mind. And 95% of your creations are being done by your subconscious mind, your habits, your beliefs, your values, and self-image. And these are the important things that we generally are not focused on, are things like awareness, imagination, your conscience, and willpower. Those are the attributes that people will look at in the self-development. You know, imagination, they'll teach, part of that is teaching goals and objectives of how to get there. And really, what we really need to focus on also is not just to remember the subconscious brain activities. That will take an entire long session to talk about, but I wanted you to have in your awareness that, hey, it's below the iceberg. That is what's really going to get you the juice in self-development. In order for you to look at and talk more about the components, etc., this is just a draft I've put in there, but if you look, there's a diagnostic test that you can take. It's rather complex. I'm trying to simplify it, and I'll have that published shortly. But you can go to my blog at www.markhughsam.com, and I've put on there, and we'll leave it on for you guys specifically, published a special article on how to diagnose self-development and the 8 components. Now, the third thing I wanted to talk about or introduce it to is one of the belief system. The belief system, and that we're talking about, is growth mindset. And without a growth mindset, we do not have the ability to put the effort to transform ourselves and their belief systems. And so the very core at the start, we have to make sure a belief system, you don't have a fixed mindset, which I had up to 2 years ago before I was able to transform myself. And what a growth mindset addresses is whether or not, you have the belief that you can do and learn virtually anything that you want to do. And part of that is understanding that it's through efforts and challenge that we grow the brain networks. And when you grow the neurons in your brain, that is what actually improves your brain and your capacity. And that's how you actually learn things. It's through effort and challenges. And so and then trying to find alternative ways of accomplishing something. Now, interestingly, someone wanted to prove that you could grow, at one time, for example, musical abilities. We thought the perfect pitch, you cannot teach perfect pitch. And they didn't tell that to a Japanese teacher. And he was very disappointed. He came back in, and I believe the number was like, of his 15 students that he had, he was able to teach 13 of them by the end of the semester how to be pitch perfect, and he was very disappointed. And that was incredible, because they're only thinking in terms of being pitch perfect. I think it's like 1 in every 10,000 people have been pitch perfect. But because he actually believed you could do it, he went out and taught 13 out of 15 people of how to be pitch perfect. So I think that's very important. And what happens when you don't have a growth mindset and you have a fixed mindset? Well, a lot of bad things kind of happen. You don't take risks and challenges. And for an entrepreneur, that's going to be an issue. You lack effort. Again, an issue for a career that's very difficult. Inability to be resilient. The first challenge you find, you crumble. Inability to set and achieve goals. And one here that's near and dear to my heart is that you cannot listen to constructive feedback, i.e. you're not coachable. And so all of these things put together are very important for you in terms of fixed mindset. So I hope those 3 points are something you'll think about going forward in as you move forward in terms of your studies and your teachings of entrepreneurship. Thank you. Go make your vision a reality. Bye.